Right.
Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. Well, thank you. Thank you, audience, for tuning back in. Today, I have a special treat for you. I have this amazing woman that I know personally. Oh, girl, don't let me mess up your name, Janiyah.
Yes.
Janiyah, the inspiration. I am bringing you a motivational speaker, a health influencer, an entrepreneur, a small business owner. Hold on. Big business owner.
Period.
Big business owner. And the list continues. I want you to help me give a warm applause to our studio guest today, Janiyah.
Thank you. Oh, I'm so happy to be here. So happy to be here. Thank
Oh my
you for
God,
having
this was in the making. Okay,
Right,
this was in the
right.
making. I knew as soon as I started the podcast, I was like, the first thing I want to do is I have to get Janiyah on here. I have to make sure Janiyah's Janiyah's presence is felt by the community and the audience, because Janiyah's story is a story that all people should hear and know. And so I want to say thank you personally for coming. I told her, I was like, girl, I just need you to come on the podcast. And she said, just tell me when. And then I texted her, I was like, remember what I said?
Right.
And she was like, here. I was like, I got this date range. What do you need? And she's like, look, anytime during this date, I am available. And y'all, she showed up. She showed up, showed out. Look at the beat.
Period.
Face never misses. Face never misses. So for those who don't know you, Janiyah, the way that I know you, can you please tell us briefly, who is Janiyah?
Of course, of course. Well, my name is Janiyah. Of course, like she said, they call me Janiyah the Inspiration. And I am known for inspiring people to be the best versions themselves. Of course, I'm well known for a very committed weight loss journey. So I used to be 350 pounds. I'm currently down 140 pounds. So that's
Wow.
major. But alongside of losing 140 pounds, I think that I've been able to discover the Janiyah that I never knew could exist.
Okay.
And now I'm being able to inspire people to be the best versions of themselves mentally, physically, spiritually, emotionally, financially. There's levels to it. There's levels to it. It's not just a weight loss journey anymore. It's a journey to become the best version of Janiyah, and then now inspire people to do the same thing. So
Wonderful.
in a nutshell.
Wonderful. Okay. So what inspired your weight loss?
What inspired my weight loss? Wow. Well, I've been an obese woman my whole life.
Okay.
So growing up, I was always obese. Up until I'm 23. I feel like I've lived this long life, but my whole life I have been obese. And to be honest, my family had told me like, you're big because grandma was big, and you always been that, so you'll always be that. And of course, my childhood memory was me being big, me getting bullied for being big. But I think that as a young adult, I finally decided to make my mind up. So what inspired my journey is I got fed up. I got fed up with accepting what the world wanted me to be and who the world was putting me in this box to be, and now just making a decision for myself that this is who I want to be, this is who I am, and I got fed up. So I literally remember the day I got on the scale and I was like, enough is enough. Like, enough is just enough. And I remember going to my local park, finding this parking lot. I would do laps around the parking lot, run random exercises. Now that I look back, I had no idea what I was doing, but I know that there was something inside of me that wanted to change. So that's what inspired my journey, just really getting fed up and deciding like enough is enough. Like nobody's going to come love me. Nobody's going to come do it for me. Nobody's going to come save me. And I just took the steps to want to change in that little parking lot in my local park to, here I am now. So, that's just what inspired me.
I love your story. I think one of the things that I love best about your story is that it shows that self-improvement doesn't require other people's opinion. I'm a firm believer in other people's opinion is not my business. I don't need to know it. You like me, you don't like me. It has nothing to do with me. That's your personal business. Like my opinion is my business. I don't need to share it with people. I don't need to, girl, social media age. I don't need to share my opinion with you because that's just how I personally feel.
Right.
I didn't make you nor break you. I didn't create you. So it's not if I don't like something or if I love something, it is not my personal business. I always say, share the positive news, great, but any negativity, sweetie, that's just not your business. And so what I love best about your story is you said, hey, I made a decision. This is what I'm going to do. It wasn't, I made a decision and I need to go talk to 5 or 6 people to see if it was the right decision for me. It was, no, I made a decision and then I went to my local park. I'm like, okay, I'm going to do these laps. I'm going to do this situation. I'm going to make sure things happen. And so today's topic is about body positivity. And so we're going to really be cracking it to whole, because one of the things myself, I am in the process of going through a weight loss journey. We met at the gym.
We did.
We literally
Side
met at the gym. Side note, we met at the gym. This is why I love her. And I think one of the things that has been more inspiring is, before it was like, oh, girl, you need to lose this weight. But now it's turned into, no, I think we want to change my lifestyle about it. That's the one thing about going to the gym, right? You go to the gym and then you start thinking you're going there for one thing. And then it's like therapy almost. You start cracking the codes of, there's so much other things to unpack. I know for myself personally, I gained 100 pounds during COVID. A lot of people, I saw them exercising, girl, and I was like, I don't know if we gonna make it, and I just don't want to not eat the meal if this is my time.
Right,
Like,
we was on lockdown.
If this is gonna be the last meal you eat, it's
The
going
Last
to
Supper,
be.
sister.
If this is the Last Supper. The Last Supper has to be. And so I was 6 tiers in on 4-course meals and everything. And I was like cooking and baking and everything. And everybody was like, girl, it's not going to be. But you don't know that. And so, newsflash, you get to the other side of the fence. And because who really wore clothes?
Right.
Nothing I owned fit. I'm like, okay, I need to go to the gym. I'm at the gym. I'm like, girl, we working on it. But it's a process.
It is.
It's so much easier to eat it on than it is to work it off. It was good. I fight with the gym all the time. And so I want to know, Janiyah, how do you maintain that healthy body image in your head when you know you still have the distance to go, right? When you still have like you said, you're 140 pounds down. So I'm sure when you were 20 pounds down, 30 pounds down, 40 pounds down, you still had more to go. And you still had to love the woman you are on the inside, right? Because it's love to get up and go to the gym every morning. It's love to go to say, you know what, it's raining outside, I'm going to go to the gym. It's love to say, you know what, these thighs rub, but they're mine, and I'm going to appreciate them because they get me up every day. You understand what I'm saying? It's love that says, this body, I'm going to make sure this face is beat. You know, these things are love. Love of oneself, self-spa, self-care. And so to maintain that through the process, because it's not an easy process.
No, it's not.
It's not an easy process. That's what I want to know. I want to know, how do you maintain that positive body image? I remember I saw a clip of you, and if I find the time, I'll add it, insert it. But you said, you know, I have a version of myself in my head, and I want to meet her. I know you love that version of yourself in your head. But how do you love the versions of you that come through the process?
Right.
Until you meet her.
And that's such a good question. I feel like when I first started this journey, or even before, I loved myself more than I do now. Because I was comfortable. So I really loved old Janiyah. Like, I loved her. I had gotten so comfortable in being 350 pounds. Like I said, I always been big. That's just what it was. Like, I really, really loved that Janiyah. And to be honest, I changed because the world didn't love me. And it sounds crazy, but I realized that I never was qualified. I was never good enough. You know, I had such a problem dating. You know, my sex life, like, it just was terrible. You know what I'm saying? But it made me realize that I really didn't love myself like I thought I was loving myself. You know what I'm saying? It was bigger than that. Like, loving yourself isn't looking in the mirror and convincing yourself that you like what you see. Loving yourself is pouring into yourself on a daily. You know, when I started, I just wanted to be skinny. That's it. Girl, I tried to be skinny, child. I just want to look like her. Okay, I want to be about this big. Wear a size 10, you know. But throughout the journey, like, I have had to dig into deeper parts of Janiyah and really love Janiyah throughout the whole process. So it's still not easy. But I think what keeps me going as far as loving myself in my current season is knowing where I'm going. You know, your current situation is not your final destination. And I believe that I have to love this part of Janiyah in order to appreciate the new Janiyah that I am now becoming. So, throughout the tremendous different amounts, first was 20 pounds and it was 50 pounds, you know what I'm saying? And that was great. I was starting to love myself even more when that was happening. But now I'm at a part in my journey where I'm like, okay, would it be easier to turn around? Because I have to continue to find that self-motivation and body positivity within myself now, and continue to not get wrapped around that. I'm not where I want to be, but I'm not where I used to be.
Preach. Snaps.
You feel me?
Snaps in the mic.
Not where I want to be, but I'm not where I'm used to be. So I do find myself even now still looking in the mirror, and I'm just like, because I put in so much work.
Amazing
and I
work.
worked so hard.
Yeah.
But I'm not done. So I think what keeps me going is I restart myself. So I'm like, okay, you lost 140 pounds. Good job. But it's time to take it up a notch. It's time to continue to dive into who Janiyah is and becoming the best version of Janiyah and tightening up even more. I think I'm the hardest person. I'm so hard on myself, which can be a good thing and a bad thing. A good thing because I won't never give up on myself, but a bad thing because sometimes I feel like it's never enough. Sometimes I feel like it's never enough. I'm like, you need to run more, you need to eat better, you need to eat. Even though I do all of those things, I'm like, there's levels to it. And if I'm here and I want to get there, then what's in the middle that's going to get me there? And it's like, I don't count. If you count the work, then you'll just give up. So at this point, I don't count what it costs. I don't care what it costs. I'll do whatever it takes at this point in order to just continue to get to the best version of myself. So loving my outside it's still not easy, because I'm like, dang, I have these goals and these inspirations, but who I'm becoming during this process is so much. I reap so much more than I could ever reap if I was just there already, so much more. I learned discipline, dedication, consistency, what a healthy lifestyle looks like, not a diet, a healthy lifestyle. A lifestyle, like deciding I won't eat junk, because junk, if you put junk in your body, you become junk. You know what I'm saying? So just making those conscious decisions. So yeah.
I think you just gave a powerful message, and the fact that you're so honest. You are so honest. I can tell you now that when I look to going through the whole weight loss journey, when I'm looking at, I myself am with you, and the whole season of the podcast has been about nothing but, not only well-being, but finding your better version of yourself. What does that woman look like? And even the definition changes as I go through my weight loss journey, because who I thought I was, who I am, who I think I want to be, changes. It shifts. The friction.
Every 2-3 weeks.
It shifts, and it shifts, and it definitely changes. And yeah, like I that resonates with me so much. So I have to say, what keeps you motivated, right? What keeps you motivated? Because you're like, hey, I'm hungry for it. That's what I hear when I hear you speak. I hear, I'm hungry for it. Listen, don't you get in this way. Right. I'm hungry for it. And so that is a level of motivation that goes, what keeps you motivated on this weight loss journey? What keeps you motivated on this pursuit, right? Because at this point in time, it's not just about weight. You go 140 pounds down. Someone you saw that 140 pounds down and be like, tap out, I'm good.
It's enough.
That's enough. You said, no, it's 140 pounds down, but I can still do better. I can still do more. I can appreciate the process enough to know I not only deserve better, but I have more to offer. So what keeps you motivated? Where did that level of thinking come from?
I would say what keeps me motivated is knowing that I'm the chosen one in my bloodline. I am the one in my bloodline that will break the generational curse. So it's so much bigger than a weight loss journey. What I'm essentially doing is, I feel like God chose me to break this generational curse. And
the curse of obesity?
Yeah, the curse of obesity, the curse of, self-motivation, the curse of poverty, the curse of, no spirituality. Like, there's a lot of generational curses in my family. and the curse of addiction. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like I was called to break that generational curse, and that's what keeps me motivated, because not only do I have something to prove to myself, but I have millions and millions and millions of lives to motivate as well, and to continue to inspire with a relatable story, not a, not a get quick fast surgery, not a Ozempic remedy. Like, no, this is hard work and dedication, and that's what keeps me motivated. And you quoted me in one of my videos. I said there's a version of myself in my head that I see, and I'm not going to stop until I get to her. That is absolutely right. Like, I see her in my head. She's so amazing, and she's so she's so amazing. And I know that I will just continue to evolve and continue to elevate and get to her, because the Janiyah I was, I'm not that Janiyah anymore. Like, the pictures and videos that are on my social media or people see, that's not me anymore. I had to reintroduce myself to certain people, and I had to reintroduce myself to myself. I'm like, dang, that's not you anymore. Look, you could see it in the pictures. You can see it in the videos. You can see it in how you were talking. That's not you anymore. So what the next version of, because now I'm here, so I'm like, okay, what does that next level of elevation look like? And that's just what keeps me going. Like, I can't let up. I can't give up, because I'm essentially breaking a generational curse in point obesity. Because if I don't break this, then I'll find myself leading it on, and then when I have kids, I'm telling my kids, oh, you're big because I was big. Oh, I'm just big, and your grandma was big, and we're just all big. And I feel like we put certain agreements on ourselves, on our bloodline, and we just stick to those agreements. You know what I'm saying? And we're just content with those agreements. And what keeps me motivated is saying that I will not accept that. I will not take that. I will not tolerate that, because we're all wonderfully created, my God. We're all here for purpose. We're all here for meaning, and we're not meant to be what the world said we are to be. We're meant to be who God created us and called us to be. So what does that look like? What exactly do you want to do with Janiyah? Because I thought that was Janiyah. But if I would have continued that lifestyle, I would have been 400 pounds by the time I was 25. And then next thing you know, health defects, and you know what I'm saying? And it's just generational high blood pressure, diabetes. That's all generation and generation. Where now I believe that we can heal the body, we can heal the mind, we can heal the soul through, stepping into what God has. So that's what keeps me motivated. It's so much bigger than, you're going to get in that bikini and you're going to get in those pair of pants. Like, no, you're called to bigger, you're called to better, and you have a mission and a calling on your life. And just don't forget that, Janiyah. Don't forget where you're going. So, yeah.
I love it.
Preacher Jay, no, please stop.
Yeah, no, sincerely, you took us to church. You definitely took us to church. And I think one of the most positive things about what you're saying is that you've put purpose in the middle of the struggle, right? It's like, okay, I have the struggle, but the struggle is a part of the purpose, right? Because you go over, you read your Bible, you do Sunday school, you hear, you got, giants, you have, you have live diseases, the woman with the blood issue, and you're looking at all of these problems and you're like, wow, they had like real issues. My weight loss, my need to, stop addiction, my need to stop certain generational curses or generational problems, they don't seem as big. But for your story, that is your Goliath. That is your Goliath. Going to the gym every day, that is your stone. That is pretty much your stone. And so what I hear you saying is recognizing, your Goliath may be obesity, making sure you relearn health so that way the next generation doesn't have to deal with the Goliath of diabetes, or the Goliath of, health issues, the Goliath of, loving yourself wrong. Yeah. Loving yourself wrong. I 1,000% understand the girl. That's just what I have this conversation all the time, where it's just certain things, that's just how it's always been. Right. That's just how it's always been, girl. It is what it is, and just that's where you are. Appreciate it, love on it, and keep going. It's like, no, you can. There are certain things we now know to fix. I personally believe, especially when you get into millennials and Gen Zs, which I have an episode coming out about that. So this is just a preview, but just a little prequel. But it just so you know that I think we're the luckiest generation of all of the generations before us. And I think we're the luckiest because we have more tools to combat some of the things that we deal with, like depression. Before, people would just say, oh, that's just an angry man or woman, or that person's just a little ticky ticky boom, they're a little crazy. Today, we know we have psychiatrists, we have definitions, we have Google, we have people that we can sit down to, and machines we can sit down to and self-identify. Hey, what is this? Why do I keep waking up angry?
Right.
What does that look like? Why do I keep waking up feeling this way? Oh, I'm depressed. Oh, well, let me go talk to somebody. Let me go sit on a couch. Let me go jogging. Let me go run. Maybe I can scoop up a friend. We're a lot more open to those conversations. I look at the conversations people have now about post-traumatic stress, and I'm like, in the beginning it was just, oh, those women crazy, after a woman have a baby, she's just crazy. Right. And now we know, no, there's hormones imbalancements. There's deficiencies. Some people don't acclimate back the same way. Other people need more help. And so we can have a more honest conversation individually and as a community of, how do I now support my sister? How do I now support my brother? What does that whole process look like? And generations before us didn't know that.
Self-awareness, self-development,
self-awareness just wasn't on the radar. Nope. Sweetie, we had movements to make, we had marches to organize. There was no possibility that you had time to deal with the individual.
Yeah, that shadow work, that inner work.
That inner work got put on the back burner because kids have to be fed and, money has to be made and so many other things. Do not get me wrong. Those things still have to take place.
Absolutely, 100%.
I got a mortgage right now. You understand?
I got rent.
There are bills will be paid. But in the mix of that flow, you now have the opportunity and time to sit down and really go, oh, wow, I can work on me and it at the same time. Absolutely. I can work on me and it. And so you've said that before. You said, hey, I am the chosen one. I am the chosen one. I feel it. I know it. Jesus told me, I recognize that I'm going to break these generational curses. I'm going to break these generational habits. And so when you're in the process of looking at it and you're going through these processes, how has the reception been to the many changes you have?
Reception. Elaborate on that.
A reception meaning we don't just interact by ourselves. We interact with other people. Now, I've already told you, other people's opinion on you is not your business, right? But we are always aware, especially when it comes to family, right? I know for me personally, as I go and I grow, I've ruffled feathers in my family, a couple of them. Just because I've wanted to, we don't have to do that anymore. We don't have to do that anymore. Right. We don't have to do that anymore. So how has your support system been when it comes to not only losing the weight, but wanting to break those generational curses?
Well, I believe that I actually didn't have the support, and that's what drives this, and that's what fueled this. Still don't have the support. God is my support, and God is who I lean on. I feel as if I got stripped down to nothing and nobody to call, nothing. And God is who came through for me, and God has been my biggest support. And I feel with him, all things are possible. And I feel as if he's the only thing that I need. I will say that I have a little sister, of course, who's right under me. Yeah. That is that's my ride or die. And she's probably the biggest support system that I have because she gets it. She knows where we're at. She knows what we're doing. She gets the vision. When it comes to outside sources, I don't typically put myself in the room with anything less than like-minded people, point blank, period. I just want to be around like-minded people. I just want to be around people who get it as well, whether it's in conferences or whether it's listening to some sermons or like-minded podcasts. That would be my biggest support system. You know what I'm saying? Because I don't get me wrong, I still have family, but sometimes families think still this big. They want to think in this little baby box. Unfortunately, love them all to death. But the best way that I realized that maybe they weren't here to support me, maybe I'm here to support them.
Okay.
And that's okay. Yeah. For a long time, I was so upset. I'm like, why aren't they this? Why aren't they that? Why don't they get this? Why don't they get that? Why did they leave? Because I've been on my own since I was 20, not by choice. And I'm like, why? But God revealed to me that it's not them that is supposed to help me. It's me that's supposed to help them. And that's okay, because a lot of the things that they didn't know, like I can't even be upset at them for, because it's again that generational thing, you know.
Yes,
It's
yes.
like,
And that's the
I'm like,
big
can I
part.
pray for you? You know what I'm saying? Like,
That's
I
the
ain't even
nugget.
mad at you.
Oh my God. So that's the nugget. That's actually another episode.
Is it?
prelude.
Really?
Yeah, a prequel of But They Didn't Know, right? Like learning to be unmad and forgive people who just didn't know any better. Because some people don't know any better. Oh, a lot of you know, some people just don't know any better. And so you go through this process and you're like, oh wow, you didn't know.
Right.
You won't. If you knew better, you would have done better, but you didn't know. And because we now know, oh, you didn't know any better. How you move, how you matriculate, how you do your thing is definitely a real conversation. It's a legitimate conversation in the sense that you're like, hey, I see that you didn't know any better, and now that I know better, I can forgive you because you just didn't know. It was no malicious intent. To me, a part of the malicious intent is that you have to know you're being malicious.
Right. Right.
A part of malicious intent has to be that you know you're being malicious. If you don't know, then it's hard for me to say this person has malicious intent.
Right. You say you know better, you do better. So
yeah. I think in the beginning, especially for me, because y'all know episode petty on its way. I'm very petty. I've grown to be petty. I didn't start off petty. And Jesus has told me, he's like, girl, this is something I never instilled in you, and I want you to unlearn. And I'm working on it. But I'm still petty. The pettiness in me be like, I knew you should have known.
Right. No, me too.
I knew you should have known. Learning to and growing to that place of no, they didn't know.
Yeah.
And you have to forgive them because they didn't know any better. That's a place of growth that I'm still working on. So please don't test my Jesus. I'm still working on because I find myself, I go, why? I'm there with you. The why. I've gotten to a place now that I no longer ask why. I ask what. What do you want me to learn?
Right.
What do you want me to learn in this? I don't need to know the why of it. Even if you explain the why to me, I probably still wouldn't like the answer. But if you were to break down the whole conversation of, what am I supposed to learn? The lesson in it for me. Then I can take that lesson, I can reteach it, reapply it to somebody else. I can move on past this, whatever issue. And
I see my family shifting now. They're shifting. Things are shifting. Things are moving.
Sweetie, it's always the shift. It's happening. I like to think of it of a bag of seasonings. It all looks like it's like, ooh, there go purpose, and then ain't nothing but flour around it. But you get to shaking that bag, and then the sprinkles get to mixing in.
Right,
now all of a
make
sudden
some fried chicken, girl. Make some fried chicken.
Now all of a sudden you have a seasoned environment.
Yep,
you have a seasoned environment.
We're cooking now.
We are really, really, really cooking. We are really, really cooking. So I want to know, because you bring up God, you was like, look, the Lord is on my side. I'm quick to be like, it's baby Jesus. It's baby Jesus and no one else. I want to know what faith has been like, right? Like before starting into your process, where was your faith like? And now that you're in the process, because I tend to find that my process when it comes to faith grows so exponentially that I swear God be just putting me in situations because he has nothing but pure faith in my faith in him. Right. He's like, oh, I could throw you out there. Like, I know you can't swim, but I'm going to throw you in the deep ocean. And you're going to make it happen because you have faith to know that I won't let you drown. Right. And to be fair, he won't let me drown.
Yeah.
But
100%, girl. 100%. He ain't a floaty gonna come a boat something.
He has it down pat. He has it down pat when it comes to me. But I want to know your faith journey throughout the process, because I can only imagine in the beginning, like you said, you were like, hey, it's just parking lot, laps around the parking lot at a local park. I just want to be skinny. For it to grow into a phenomenon, this woman is not only an influencer, but she is definitely an inspiration. It has kind of absorbed your lifestyle, life questions, life purpose. How do you go about? Because I'm sure when you were little, you were like, what do you want to be when you grow up? The first thing on your mind was, I'm going to influence millions of people to want to lose weight and be the best versions of themselves and be happy and smile and beat faces. I mean, for me, I just wanted my Barbie to marry G.I. Joe. Right. And that was considered imaginative. Yeah. But for you, it's like, when it comes to that faith journey, How has it grown with you, and how did you know it was God? What put you on point that, oh, this is God, this isn't me just fussing in the mirror?
Right. I always have known of him. Had a family that had me go to certain churches, throughout my journey. But was I in the church Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday Bible study? No, I wasn't. And I believe that like I had said before, I feel like God had took everything away and he was the only thing that I had to lean on. Because once I have nothing, I'm like, okay, I heard about this God guy. Who is he? And what does he do? And, and I just started to search. I just started to seek. I just started to want to know. And the more, this is one of my mantras, faith over fear, just like it's in the word, walk by faith, not by sight.
Yeah.
So I never knew what was on the other side of my faith. I never knew, but I just knew I just wanted to be faith over fear. I trust you, God. I hear you, I want to get closer to you. I want to continue to seek you, and I'm going to walk by faith, not by sight. And every single time I did that, he showed out. He showed up and showed out every single time. Whether, it got down to the specifics, you ask and you shall receive. So I found myself relying on God, asking for strength, asking for wisdom, asking for answers, a sign. And when I tell you, he literally was putting signs in my face. He was literally bringing people to me. He was answering questions that I needed to be answered. You had seen me a while back, by the way. I went to Turkey. God sent me to Turkey. I went to Turkey for God.
Yeah.
I didn't just go to Turkey. I went to Turkey for him. Yes, I went on a mission. And when I tell you, God paid for that trip. God paid my rent the month before and the month after and the trip just to go. When you're walking through this thing called life, you're like looking for all these answers and how I'm going to do this and how I'm going to do that. Again, my faith was always on 1,000. My faith was always 100% there. And like I said, I didn't ever grow up in a church, but when I got to my young adult years, 19, 20, I'm 23. So my life has drastically changed within the last 3 to 4 years, upside down changed. And now God is my best friend. And I still live by that mantra, you know what I'm saying? Where faith over fear. Whatever I decide to do, I'm putting my faith into God, and that God will bring me what is going to be brought to me, what's meant to be and what's in alignment with what he wants for me. And it's just been shown. When I was trying to do it my way, perfect example, when I was trying to do it my way, it didn't work. I did DoorDash, Grubhub, Uber Eats. I had started donating plasma just to make sure that I could keep food on the table and keep lights on in my house. But the second that I let go and let God and walk by faith and not by sight, it started to overflow into my house. It started to overflow to where it was more than I could ask, think, or imagine. And I'm like, how could I put God here when he's trying to take me here? You know what I'm saying? And I feel like the more that I trusted him, the more, like I said, he just started to show out. And when he starts to do it like that, abundantly and full and so gracefully, why would I want to be in the streets trying to DoorDash and Grubhub for $2-3 a trip, wasting my gas, being stressed out, almost getting in accidents every corner, to where I have a business now that's going to be making 6 figures by the end of the year. You know what I'm saying? Yes. That's what God had for me. But I was too busy trying to do it my way. So the more that I walk in alignment with what he wants from me, the more that he shows out. And it's as simple.
That I 1,010% agree with. I've been talking about this podcast for years. I've been talking, legitimately years. It was during COVID that I even thought of the idea of starting the podcast. And everyone I went to said, oh, yeah, it's a great idea. You talk, you're amazing. And I was like, oh, y'all just saying that because you know me. Let me go ask some other people. And they were like, no, you really got it. And so it took me real long. And then after a while, it was just like, girl, are you going to do it or not? And that was just a me and the mirror conversation. So I was like, God, if this is really what you want to do, make it, prepare it, give me a way. And sure enough, people just started pouring into me. I was gifted studio equipment. Oh, here, I know you said you went to start a podcast. I saw this. I think this is great for you. So weren't random people, but from random places of, oh, we saw these mics. We heard they're really good for podcasts. I know you want to start your business. Oh, we saw you might be interested in this. And I was like, wow, that support system really, really made me feel seen.
Yeah.
It made me feel seen. I'm like, I have a support system. I'm grateful. I think one of the things that made me grateful about the podcast is I have a support system. I can be honest in saying support systems was not the thing. not the thing. Not the thing in the beginning.
Right.
Normally, when I go on the journey, it's just me. Me by myself.
Yeah.
In the dark room. Out here. Me.
Yeah,
by
yeah,
myself. That legitimately is it. But this time it was like, okay. And then even in the process, it was like, okay, well, what am I going to talk about? It was like after a deep prayer, 12 ideas that to this day we're still going in order. Of those 12 ideas that stuck, it made sense. It made me want to go, oh wow, I like this idea. I like this idea. I like this topic. I like how I'm going to present it. I started seeing the topics that I had pop up on other people's podcasts. I'm like, oh wow, I'm going to discuss that. Someone else is thinking that, oh, it's getting good reviews and people want to talk. Okay, this is good. I met Sanchez. He goes, oh, I know you have that podcast. You're going to need a website. I know exactly. You need to talk to Janiyah and her sister. They have a marketing team. They're going to put together the website. Your website will be amazing. This is who you need to get in contact with. And I go, very randomly one Saturday, I'm like, Janiyah, can we talk business? Can we talk shop? And when I tell you, this woman was probably one of the most positive people. I love you. I love your sister. I'm talking positivity. I'm talking amazing business structure. I'm talking level of professionalism. Because this is a positive platform, I will say. Finding people who are professional and you like.
And say they're going to do what they said they was going to do, okay?
That's like the golden touch. I love people. Hug you. I want to adopt you, your kids, your dog, everybody. But I cannot trust you to do the work. Or I can trust you to do the work. Flawless, amazing, immaculate, skill set on Jesus. But you have such a horrible attitude. I don't want to be in your presence. So finding people who can you like, I want to be around you. And you do amazing work. We have I can build a partnership with you to keep the business going.
And I see the vision.
I see
it. I always seen it for you, sis. I always
see the vision. Man, that was the part. And so I'm like, okay, I see this entrepreneur. For me, I was always pro. I want to work with entrepreneurs. I want to work with big businesses, not a small business,
Period.
Big businesses.
Period.
Okay. I wanted to work with big businesses because sometimes the importance can get lost among the numbers of, well, I have quotas and I have data and I have sheets and I'm supposed to bring in 5 opportunities and they need to gross this and this. Like, sometimes the numbers, you'll lose the importance and chasing numbers.
Just a system.
Because of the system. But with you, it was like, no, we take our projects based off of the importance, not the numbers. So every project is important. Every opportunity is important. Every bit of the piece, every piece is a part of the puzzle is important. And that is something I completely 1,000% love, which shows you the dedication and it shows you the accountability. Now, I will be honest in telling you the accountability is something I'm struggling with. I've been going to the gym faithfully for 2 years. Let's be honest, faithfully 2 years. And the accountability piece, that has been it for me. I'm like, girl, have I been going for 2 years? Yes. Have I been going at the right time of the day? No. Have I been eating the right foods? Probably not. But a lot of that has to do with the fact that I'm like, do you want to get to your goal? Yes, I want to get to the goal. But why do they make cake look so good?
Oh my God, I can't.
And then why is it that by my house is every good soul food restaurant? Why does it smell the way it smells when you walk through the block? Like, it's one thing to be like, ooh, I want to go grab food. It's something totally different to ride by the street and smell. And, oh, that's... They're cooking.
I don't condone this, y'all.
if we're keeping it 100. If we're going to keep it 100. Girl, and then I go to myself, you're not supposed to, how many calories do I have today?
Right.
And then, small businesses, they don't even have the calories in the main apps. So you're like, this look like it could be.
Right. Right.
It's probably only like 60 calories.
Yeah.
All the oils and the greases and That's about that don't really have no real calories.
Mm-hmm.
You start having those conversations. You start having those moments. And so I want to know about the accountability piece, because it means telling yourself no.
Right.
It means telling yourself no. And I can be one to say that because I've had other people doubt me, because I've had other people tell me, I don't think that's for you. I don't think, because I've been told no, I have a hard time telling myself no.
Ooh.
Because I'm overcompensating for the doors. I'm like, okay, that door closed, but we still can do this. And so we can still do this. I'm always telling myself yes. Yes to the shoes, yes to the dress, yes to the guy, yes. I'm not one who wants to tell myself no, because other people are going to tell me no.
Right.
All right.
Right.
And so in this point in time, I'm like, if I'm going to hold myself accountable, I have to be able to tell myself no at some point in time, which is something I definitely know I struggle with. So how do you go about your journey saying, you know what, it's in self-reflection? No, you can't do this right now. No, I can't settle at 140. I want to meet that other person, that other vision of that person. No, I can't just acclimate to it's always been done this way. You know, this is just what the family looks like. This is what it is. You need to be that person that starts the new trend, that sets the new tone. How do you go about holding yourself to that level of accountability? Because that right there could be a fist fight.
Right.
Internally.
No, absolutely. Absolutely. I think for me, I had a conversation with myself. I had to look in the mirror and have a conversation with myself and be real with myself. See, it's more than just eating bad and going to the gym still. For me, it's like, the food is not meant to keep us alive. The food is junk. They put preservatives in the food aside from calories. The food is just overall not good for us, and it doesn't add to longevity of life. For me, I'm thinking about longevity of life. I'm thinking about a life with no diseases, a life with no health issues, you know, and I would be Bobo the Clown if I'm working out. I work hard. To work that hard and then turn around and then slap on the work that I've been done, I'm just wasting time. And I don't want to waste time. Like, I feel like time is of the essence. I'm holding myself back by deciding to go against the grid of what I know is right and what I need to be doing. And like you said, it's not forever. You know what I'm saying? I miss all of those things. To this day, I don't eat those things. I have a very healthy and very strict lifestyle. Let me say that.
And if I get the chance, somewhere around here, I will show you. She posts pictures of like what it looks like when she goes to the grocery store.
Oh.
And I like them all the time because I'm like, girl, I didn't even know. As someone who actually genuinely loves cooking, I love to see what's in other people's baskets. Like, ooh, what are you going to do with that rosemary? You got basil too. Like, I'm that person. I love, me and food have a genuine love relationship. Like, cool. That's my lover. Like, girl, that's my lover. Mm-hmm. Figuring out how to cook it healthy, that's something I'm definitely working on. But how, like, when you get into that level of, I'm looking at the baskets and you're like, I'm meal prepping and I'm going to the grocery store and I'm buying these things. I'm like, how do you do that?
I really had to dive into knowledge and resources. I don't know if I was born to cook. I can cook, you know what I'm saying? Grew up in the kitchen with grandma. I know how to cook. But when it came to cooking what's right, see, for me as a young adult who lives on her own, I could go out to eat and spend $100, $150 with me and my two homegirls if I'm trying to treat them. Or I could take the $150 to Aldi and get me 2 to 3 weeks worth of groceries. And that's just how my mentality is. Like, I love Publix. Would I shop at Publix? No, because it cost effectively wise, it just doesn't work for me. So Aldi is a store that I prefer. I'll spend $150, $200 in Aldi. Before I even go to Aldi, I've already prepared all of my plans and all of my meals on my notes. And all of that comes from my education and my resources. And when I say like YouTube or books or following other vegan or raw veggie cooks and chefs, like what are jackfruit tacos? You know what I'm saying? Like, we're not taught those things. We're taught how to make the chicken with the mac and the collard greens. Like, that's just what we eat. And for me, I grew up in a Hispanic household as well. So we had empanadas, tamales, bread.
Food.
You feel me? And it's like, I love that. But when I I think about the longevity of my life, I have to think strategic. I have to think cost effective wise. So if I go to the grocery store, spend $200, get 2 to 3 weeks worth of groceries, go home and meal prep all of them. I pick one day to meal prep, and I meal prep all of my food on that one day. So now the only thing I'm going to the fridge for is to grab the meal that I've already meal prepped. You know what I'm saying? So it's intentionality, and I'm being strategic. Like, I'm not just going to the grocery store and letting psychology pull whatever it may pull into my cart, and I got all the lettuce and tomatoes and onions, but then I decided to grab 2 tubs of ice cream too. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's just not
the 2 tubs of ice cream. I will say part of me is part of me learning accountability is like, okay, learning that you don't need it all. Like, for me, I've gotten to the place where I go, instead of going and getting like the pint of ice cream, I'll go and I'll get like the small little ice cream bars.
I know which ones you're talking about.
Yeah. And so it's like, I look on them like, okay, if this is 50 calories, I can afford 50 calories. 50 calories for a sweet treat. If you make all of your goals, you went to the gym, you ate the right food, and those 50 calories are left over, okay, this is what we can spend those 50 calories on. But if you was out here just picking out, eating, being whoever you wanted to be, saying no to yourself. Like I said, saying no to myself, not necessarily the easiest person to say no to myself to. And Lord, please don't let somebody tell me no, because I'm ready to like, right. You don't know what you're talking about.
And then finding like replacements too.
Yeah.
So I love fruit now. Like, fruit, it would be my sweet go-to. Instead of having a sweet tooth, I'll go to fruit. So I'll eat like 3 watermelons before I even think about, you know what I'm saying? Because it's just as sweet for me. Yeah. And it may just be a mental thing. You know what I'm saying? Grapes, watermelon, mangoes, blueberries, raspberries. You know what I'm saying? Like, I can eat that all day without having that guilty conscience. And then even finding healthy dessert alternatives like strawberries with whipped cream, or I've seen these yogurt bars where you like cut the strawberries and then you pour the yogurt on it and then freeze it, and they're like yogurt bars, you know, like just finding alternatives to get me through, to hold myself accountable. So in my head, I'm thinking that I'm indulging just a little, but in reality, what I'm eating is still healthy. You know what I'm saying? So just having like that balance, because that just holds me accountable. Like, versus if I went and really indulged, then I would just feel so bad. I would just feel so guilty. Like, I'd probably just go like to the gym for like hours for me, because I'm just hard on myself. And I told you that, like, I'm the hardest person on myself. And that's just because I'm determined and I'm trying to get somewhere, and I don't want to prolong my own success. Like, I just can't.
I think one of the best quotes I've ever heard is that it's better to go after your successes now so that you can enjoy them longer than it is to wait till tomorrow. And I was like, ooh, that hit my spirit, like, right? Because you don't want to get there. Who really wants to get to the end of the journey and find out, wow, it's peaceful over here, it's better over here, and I could have been here yesterday. Yeah, I could have been here the day before yesterday. And so I think that for me, it's like, a big motivator for me has been, if you live to be 105, do you want to wait till you're 104 to get it together, or do you mind doing it now that you're 33? Right. Like, I mean, you'll get there. Yeah. But how long do you really want to enjoy it? Exactly. The successes, and then the goals, as you say, shift as you go throughout the journey. For me, it was, let's just lose this 100 pounds you gain. Then it was, let's see if we could just learn to fall in love with the gym. You're in love with the gym life, girl. Let's tone this. Let's tone that. Right. Now it's gotten past. Reality is I don't check the scale. Nope. I don't check the scale. I haven't checked my scale, my BMI, in months. I use my clothes as a factor. I've always been that kind of person. I got skinny girl jeans. If I wear these jeans, I know I'm a skinny girl. I got you gained a little weight jeans. Yep. I have big booty girl jeans. Like, ooh, your butt got big. And then I have roly-poly.
What is the roly-poly?
I have roly-poly. I have a roly-poly dress. And it's like, if you could fit this dress, you a roly-poly. Right. And so that's how I've always gauged myself. I have the 4. And so I go back and forth between them, like, oh, you can get in these jeans. This is where you are based off of how you shape. And I found that sometimes I went a whole 8 months before the scale changed. And I was in the gym. Right. But my clothes started fitting different. Mm-hmm. My waist snatched up so good.
Face, you was glowing, all type of stuff.
All types of stuff. And so but the frustration of the weight, the scale didn't change. Yeah. Frustrated me so much. I found that if you're not looking at the right the signs, you can frustrate yourself out of your position. Because everybody kept telling me you're losing weight. I could tell. Like, girl, you look different.
They start saying it. And you be like, really?
But I'm like, the scale hasn't moved. And they're like, yeah, but you know, your jeans are loose on you.
Mm-hmm.
You need a belt now. Like
Right.
you're going through these shifts, you're going through these changes.
Right.
And so for me we're getting to like the conclusion of this. I really want to know, falling back in love with yourself. You know, falling back in love with yourself. Like you said, I thought I knew love. In the beginning, you was like, I thought I knew I was loving myself, but now I realized I have this new love for myself. And now that you're practicing this new love for yourself, how do you get to that place where you're like, okay, I understand I'm in love with myself? Do you ever fully feel that you have become in love with yourself?
Absolutely. I think I've fallen in love with who I'm becoming. So to say I fall in love with myself, I think I've say more I'm falling in love with who I'm becoming.
Ooh.
I'm becoming the best version of Janai, like I mentioned, but I'm also becoming who God created me to be. And I'm falling in love with the becoming part because, like we talked about earlier, it's drastically changing.
Yeah.
2 weeks it may be this, and then I may learn something different, and now it's this. So I'm really falling in love with the becoming part, like being okay with isolation for elevation, and being okay reading and grabbing knowledge and getting journals and taking notes. I just recently made a dedication, just transparency, to go completely sober. So God had already stripped me from alcohol, going through a celibacy season, but now I feel like God has stripped me from my addiction to marijuana. Like that was something that I just loved. That was my BFF, and I thought that I was going to be able to do it forever. But God has now told me that it's time to give that up. Because God's saying, I'm trying to take you to this next season, but I can't take you to the next season until you're willing to give up what was in the old season. And I feel like I'm really falling in love with the becoming of Janiyah, because old Janiyah would have been like, no, I'm not giving it up. I can be Christian and inspire people and still get high. And that's just me being real with the audience. One thing about me, I'm always going to be real. I'm always going to be transparent because that's the reality of it. But God is showing me that he's calling me to bigger and better. So I'm falling in love with becoming. Like I'm becoming somebody that I never knew would exist. But I believe that I deserve the best version of Janiyah, and the world deserves for the best version of Janiyah to ever walk this planet. And I'm becoming that every day, every week, every month. Like, I can't even believe a whole year has passed since I even met you at like Sanchez's. You know what I'm saying? Like, time is flying, time is moving, and I'm just becoming different. Like, what I used to like, I don't like anymore. And who I used to hang out with, I don't hang out with anymore. And what I used to listen to, I don't listen to anymore. And when I used to eat, I don't eat anymore. And even how I used to gym like this, but now I'm gymming like this because I'm constantly becoming. And that's what I'm falling in love with, because I'm eager to see. And it's a lifestyle. There's no end goal. There's no end result. There ain't no, oh, I'm going to get here and then I'll be content. No, absolutely not. I'm just going to continue to rely on God. And like I said, I'm falling in love with becoming. Like, of course, I love Janiyah and I love who Janiyah is, but I'm also loving who Janiyah is becoming as she continues to elevate and evolve, because she's constantly changing, and even to a better and greater version of herself, mentally, physically, spiritually, emotionally, and financially. So all aspects.
I love it. I love it. I love it. I think part of the reason I love it so much is because of the process, right? When we're talking about positive body image, and you have, in order to have a positive body image, you have to love what you're seeing, right? You have to love what you're looking at. You have to love yourself enough to want to do the changes that you need to make. And
paying for purpose. It's paying for purpose. That's what I always say. Paying for purpose.
Paying for purpose. Yeah. Identify that. Dive more into that. What does that mean to you?
For me, it's like using everything that the world tried to cancel me out for. Everybody always try to cancel me out. Like, in the world, I was always canceled out. You're not good enough. You're too big. You're bigger than your sister. Even the treatments I would get. It's hard to be an obese woman in America. I don't care what anybody says. You always feel like you're looking over your shoulder to the next person who, like for me, I have a cute little tiny petite sister. So everywhere we went, I was never the one talked to. It was my sister. You know what I'm saying? And that starts to get to a person after a while. And I feel like everything that was meant to be pain, everything that canceled me out, everything that got me to 350 pounds, had me in depression, had me in anxiety, had me addicted to marijuana, all of that I'm now going to use for purpose in my life. I'm going to change the script, change the trajectory of what that is and what that looks like. So it's not a bad thing. None of that was bad, because in order for me to go into that purpose, the pain had to happen. And I'm just using all of that pain, like, oh, they try to cancel me out. They try to say I was this. Well, I'm not. I'm created by the Most High. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
I'm now this, God is
Yes.
going to use me for this. You know what I'm saying? I thought I was supposed to work a 9 to 5 and just, woo. And now God's like, no, I want you to be a billionaire. I want you to be a multi-billionaire. I want you to have multiple businesses, because the more that you can have, the more that you have, the more you can do for other people, So everything that tried to be looked at as a negative, I'm now seeing purpose in that and now using that for my purpose. So it's not pain, really. It to us, it feels like that in the moment, but if we can look at all of those things and say, I'm going to make something great out of my life with the cards that I was dealt, there's beauty in that. Because on the other side of rejection, abandonment, obesity, depression, anxiety, there lies so much joy, you know what I'm saying? So much positivity, so much love for God, and that purpose. Purpose is meaning why you're here, why you're created, what your mission now is, and why you're on this planet. What is your purpose and why are you here? What is your gift that God has enlisted and put inside of you? And now how are you going to use that and go share it with the world? Because like you see, I'm known for my weight loss journey. That was the one thing that nobody ever made me feel qualified for.
Yeah.
But now I'm using it to inspire the next person, and that's beautiful to me, because I'm using my pain for a purpose. Because if you've seen my video and you got the urgency to change your life in any way, shape, or form, that's purpose, I just gave you a reason, and that's just beautiful to me. So just changing the trajectory.
Okay, well, I've held you here long enough, everyone. I just
we can
want
talk all day, girl. I know we could.
We can. But you've dropped the gems, the nuggets, girl. You've given us the discounts, and
from the heart too.
From the heart, exactly, from the heart. Again, amazing. This young woman is amazing, and I love you so much because you let me know that there's always places to go and people to see. Like when you're on your journey, you will meet amazing people and build those connections and relationships. And this is just the relationship I knew. I was like, oh, we need to make sure we water this friendship. We need to make sure we nurture this friendship, because it's going to take us places and do things.
Yeah.
And I knew as soon as I created a platform that I wanted your message out there, because it is an amazing message to share. It is an amazing message to share. So now you have it here. We have Janiyah the Inspiration, again, motivational speaker, health influencer, entrepreneur, big business owner, and the list continues. Audience, drop all of your comments in the comments section, like and subscribe, the YouTube, Instagram, TikTok videos, everything, and share this message. Let us know what you're thinking, how you feel about it. And don't forget to follow. Please let everyone know your tag name so they can go on Instagram and follow you and look at these amazing. First of all, her pictures are amazing. They are amazing. Gassing me up, y'all. She really do. No, but I'm so serious. Her pictures are amazing, because if you were not motivated or inspired before, once you start seeing her pictures and her message, as soon as she across my page, I'm like, what are we eating today?
Right.
Be mindful. What are we doing today? Don't forget, it's all possible. How are we going about this? And so I just wanted you all to know that with Janiyah, yes, Janiyah, make sure you share all of your information with the viewers.
Well, they don't call me Janiyah the Inspiration for no reason, child, okay?
I am inspired.
Yes. So on my platforms, it is Janiyah the Inspiration. So that's Janiyah spelled Jania, the Inspiration. And that would be on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. Check me out and just come be inspired. My message to anybody listening to this is that we can all be the best version of ourselves, and that we're here for greater. We're here for, a bigger purpose on our lives, and just really work on discovering that, because what we think self-discovery, self-awareness and personal development, we all should be working towards that in every single way, shape, or form. So I just thank you for having me on this podcast. It means so much for you to be able to give me a platform to share my story, because Olja and I would have never came on here and told y'all everything that I just said. But if I can be relatable, transparent, and vulnerable with you and with your audience, I know that we can continue to change lives and grow. So just thank you for, putting me on here. And
so you have it here, Janiyah the Inspiration. Thank you again for tuning in. See you next week. And that is a wrap.
That's a wrap. Woo! Yes, honey.
Yes.